Hey guys, Joey B here of GamerGrad81, and today we're going to quickly look at all the items that I purchased while I was at the Too Many Games convention in Oaks, Pennsylvania earlier today. So let's get started. This should be fun. The first game is Space Invaders for the Atari 2600, a classic. The second is the Tengen release of Miss Pac-Man. From what I hear, it is the best version of the game, of the console version of the game. Joust for the 5200, which I also hear is a old classic from the early 80s. The box for Super Mario Bros. 2. I already own the cartridge, so I was able to just buy the box for half off. Which is also the case for the box for Mylan's Secret Castle by Hudson Soft. Pretty good game for the NES, kind of a puzzle platforming shooter game, and fairly infamous for being pretty difficult. And you also have to sort of know a secret code to be able to continue when you die. So, so yeah, the game can be really tough, but it's a pretty good game. Carnivore from Data East, also an infamous game on the NES for the ending screen after you beat the game. But besides that, there's a pretty good game to be had. Pretty good platforming shooter, action adventure, and yep, I've always enjoyed it quite a bit. Life Force for the NES, and I've always loved this game, and I believe that it is a superior shooter to Gradius. It has more features, greater level design variety, boss variety, and also the vertical scrolling levels. So, yeah, in my opinion, Life Force is definitely a true NES classic. And of course, I think the gem of the collection here from today, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. I have not owned this game in probably almost 3 decades, and it is quite a treat to have found it even without the box. Just to be able to say that I own this is really something, considering it's difficult to find in every other version of Punch-Out that I own, except for on ROM, of course, is the version with Mr. Dream, just the regular Punch-Out. Okay, Genesis compilation of arcade classics, Centipede, Missile Command, and Pong. Never actually played this compilation, but it's a Genesis cartridge compilation of games, and that's never a bad thing, so I figured, why not? Sword of Sodan, a very infamous Genesis game for being very hard and having horrible hit detection, and just being a very poor quality game overall. I've hardly ever played it myself, and I remember I used to see the game in old Game Informers, and back then during the day it looked really, really good, really large sprites, very detailed graphics and whatnot at the time. It looked great. I guess they had us all fooled, but I'll try this game out for myself and see how bad it really is. World of Illusion, starring Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck. In my opinion, one of the Sega Genesis classics. It's part of the Illusion trilogy that was found on the Genesis. I think this was the last one. I'm not quite sure if that's right, but I've only played Castle of Illusion and this one, and they're both great. This one, in my opinion, is kind of easy, a little too easy, easier than Castle of Illusion, but it's still a great game, and it has some really great music, and you can find some really good remixes of some of the tracks on YouTube for this game, of which I have downloaded a couple, and yeah, it's a really good Disney, 16-bit Disney game. Definitely one of the class standouts. And of course, another Sega Genesis classic, Shinobi 3, Return of the Ninja Master. In my opinion, between Revenge of Shinobi and this one, this is the a more developed Shinobi game. Revenge of Shinobi is great as well, and definitely stands out on its own. But in my opinion, this basically perfected the Shinobi formula on the Genesis. Just everything about it, super fluid, super smooth. The graphics, the music, just everything about it was 16-bit, perfection. And I enjoy it a lot. But I enjoy Revenge of Shinobi as well. So great games, definitely great games. Okay, Eternal Champions CD. I've never, except for on ROM, of course, I've played it a very little bit. The one that I'm really familiar with is Eternal Champions on the Sega Genesis, the original. That's the one that I grew up with. But this is supposed to be the superior port, with four new characters. I think multiple endings, if I'm not mistaken, and of course a whole bunch of overkills, and I know there are some other death animations in the game, like overkills, and I forget what the other types are called, but I know there's a whole bunch. So I'm excited to have this game. I actually do not own a Sega CD, but complete in box, you can't pass that up. So I figured, what the heck. A VMU for the Dreamcast. I actually bought a Dreamcast at my local game shop some months back, and I have a VMU, but this one is new, and it's also prettier than the one that I already have for it. And I figured having a second one is always a good thing for the Dreamcast. So I'm excited to have bought this, and I believe this was only $10, so I figured that's a heck of a deal. Perfect Dark for the N64. I hear that this is a pretty good shooter. I actually have this on the Rare Replay collection. This and Zero, and I hear this is the better game. So I'm pretty excited to have found this, and I'll try it out and see what I've been missing. Of course, a traditional purple, translucent, see-through N64 controller. This is actually the type of controller that I used the most during my earlier days when I played on the N64. Was this exact palette controller, and I like it a lot. And this is how I hold it, with middle corner. And it gives you the best vantage point to get to the analog stick. And this is the way that I played, like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, the Castlevanias for the N64, Goemon's Great Adventure, Smash Brothers, and a bunch of other titles for the N64. Yep, I like this quite a lot, and I'm very excited to have one that's in working order, because I killed the stick on my original. It barely responds at all, so it's nice to have one that will actually be able to do things. So that's awesome. Alright, and that's the bag. Alright. And last but not least, I didn't actually purchase this at the convention, but this is a hammer from Spawn, that I have to give a shout out to Spawnwave Media. I showed up at the meet and greet that was held earlier this afternoon. Him, Philip, and Evan, from the Spawncast that he does, that they do, I believe it's once a week. We're all there, and I was privileged to be able to hang out with them at Buffalo Wild Wings, and it was a fun time. And for showing up, this was my consolation prize, and it's pretty cool. I have to see if I can open up a Game Boy Micro with the end there. It looked like it was quite the did quite the job on Spawn Waves video. So yeah, so thank you, John, and it was great hanging out with you guys, and yeah, I definitely appreciate this. And yep, it's cool and also ergonomic, you know, handy, practical. All right, yep. So awesome. And that, I believe, is everything that I got from there tonight, or earlier today, I should say. But I do plan on going back tomorrow, and I imagine that I will have a few more items by then that, you know, I'll probably show you guys on video. So, all right, so that should do this. I hope you enjoyed the video. You guys have a good night, and I will see you next video then. All right, take care.